She married a ghost. In a small village called Umokoro, there lived a beautiful woman named Adaobi. She was the most beautiful woman in the entire village, with skin as smooth as cocoa and eyes that sparkled like the stars. Every man in Umokoro wanted to marry her, but there was a problem. Adaobi was very rude and stubborn. She often talked back to the elders and ignored the young men who came to ask for her hand in marriage. One day, a young man named Chike, who was known for his kindness, decided to approach Adaobi. He brought her gifts of fresh palm wine and sweet mangoes and fruits. He even helped her mother fetch water from the stream, but Adaobi just laughed at him and sent him away. "Do you think you can win my heart with fruits and water? Leave me alone," she said, with her nose in the air. Chike left, disappointed, but he still hoped that Adaobi would change her ways. But she did not. She continued to turn down every man who came to see her. The villagers started to whisper about her, wondering why such a beautiful woman was so unkind. Then one night, a handsome stranger came to the village. His name was Ifeanyi, and he had a mysterious aura around him. No one knew where he came from, but his charm and good looks caught Adaobi's attention. Unlike the other men, Ifeanyi did not bring gifts or try to impress her with sweet words. Instead, he spoke to her with confidence and treated her like an equal. Adaobi was intrigued. She found herself drawn to Ifeanyi, and for the first time, she felt her heart soften. They spent time together, talking about the stars and the moon, and Adaobi began to smile. The villagers were surprised to see this change in her, but they were happy that she had finally found someone she liked. One evening, Ifeanyi asked Adaobi to marry him. She agreed without hesitation. They had a small wedding ceremony, and everyone in the village attended. Adaobi wore a beautiful white dress, and Ifeanyi looked handsome in his traditional attire. The couple seemed perfect for each other, and the villagers celebrated their union with joy and dancing. However, something strange started happening after their wedding. Ifeanyi would disappear at night and return only at dawn. Adaobi asked him where he went, but he always gave vague answers. One night, she decided to follow him to find out the truth. She watched as Ifeanyi walked into the edge of the village towards the old abandoned house that everyone believed was haunted. Adaobi's heart pounded with fear, but she kept following him. As she peered through the bushes, she saw something unbelievable. Ifeanyi walked into the house and vanished into the thin air. Shocked, Adaobi ran back to her home, her mind racing. Could it be that Ifeanyi was not a real person? She remembered the stories the elders told about spirits who sometimes visit the living, but she couldn't believe that her own loving husband was one of them. The next morning, Adaobi confronted Ifeanyi. She asked him if he was a ghost. Ifeanyi looked at her with sad eyes and confessed, "Yes, Adaobi, I am a spirit. I died many years ago, but I have loved you from afar. I wanted to make you happy, even if just for a short time. Adaobi felt tears welled up in her eyes. She had fallen in love with a ghost, and now she didn't know what to do. She still loved him, but she knew he couldn't stay with her forever. She was torn between her love for Ifeanyi and the reality of their impossible situation. As the sun set that evening, Ifeanyi told Adaobi he had to leave. Her spirit could not stay in the land of the living for too long. Adaobi held his hand tightly, not wanting to let go. They shared one last embrace, and then, just as the first star appeared in the sky, Ifeanyi vanished, leaving Adaobi alone. Adaobi sat by the old house, tears streaming down her face. She felt a deep sorrow, but also a strange peace. For the first time, she understood the power of love and the importance of kindness. She knew she would never forget Ifeanyi and the lesson he had taught her. After Ifeanyi's departure, Adaobi returned to the village with a heavy heart. The villagers noticed her change. She was no longer rude and stubborn. Instead, she was quiet and thoughtful, always wearing a sad but gentle smile. People whispered amongst themselves, curious about what had happened to her, but Adaobi kept her secret close, sharing nothing about her ghostly husband. Days turned into weeks, and Adaobi tried to move on with her life. She spent her time helping the elderly, cooking for the children, and working in the fields. The villagers began to admire her transformation. I wondered if perhaps she had finally found peace. Yet, every night, Adaobi would go into the old abandoned house, hoping to catch a glimpse of Ifeanyi. She would sit there, talking to the stars, whispering her thoughts and feelings, as if he could still hear her. One night, as Adaobi sat by the old house, she noticed a faint glow in the distance. Her heart raced as she stood up and walked towards the light. As she got closer, she saw a figure standing there, bathed in a soft, ethereal glow. It was Ifeanyi. He smiled at her, and for a moment, everything felt like it had before. Adaobi, he said gently, I have returned to see you once more. My love for you has drawn me back, even if just for a short while. Tears welled up in Adaobi's eyes. Ifeanyi, I missed you so much. I don't think why you had to leave. Ifeanyi looked at her with sorrowful eyes. I belong to the spirit world, Adaobi. Our love is a beautiful but impossible dream. Yet I could stay away. I wanted to see you one last time, to tell you how much you mean to me. Adaobi felt a mix of joy and sadness. She reached out to touch Ifeanyi's hand, but it felt cold and distant. I don't care if you are a ghost, Ifeanyi. I love you, and I want to be with you, even if it means only in this moment. Ifeanyi shook his head. It is not that simple, my dear. You have a life to live among the living. You must find happiness and not let your heart be tied to a ghost. As they spoke, a sudden gust of wind blew through the trees, carrying a soft whisper. Ifeanyi's expression grew serious. Adaobi, there is something you must know. My time here is not by accident. There is a reason I was drawn to you, beyond our love. A shadow looms over Humokoro, a darkness that threatens the village. Adaobi looked at him, confused and worried. What do you mean? Ifeanyi, what darkness? Ifeanyi's figure began to flicker, and it seemed to fade in and out of sight. There are spirits who are not as kind as I am. They are jealous of the living and seek to bring harm. You must be careful, Adaobi. Protect yourself and the village. Trust your heart with the goodness you have found. Before Adaobi could ask more, Ifeanyi's image began to fade. Wait, Ifeanyi, don't go. How do I protect the village? What can I do? But it was too late. The glowing figure of Ifeanyi vanished into the night, leaving Adaobi standing alone. She felt a chill run down her spine and a growing sense of dread. She knew that Ifeanyi's warning was not to be taken lightly. There were dark forces at play, and she had to find a way to protect her home and the people she cared about. With a newfound determination, Adaobi decided she would seek out the village elder, Mama Nkechi, known for her wisdom and knowledge of the spirit world. Maybe she would know what to do and how to protect the village from looming threat. As Adaobi walked back to the village, she couldn't shake the feeling that her life had just become much more complicated. The next morning, Adaobi made her way to Mama Nkechi's hut. The elderly woman was sitting outside, weaving her basket. Her eyes, wise and knowing, glanced up at Adaobi's worried face. Mama Nkechi, I need your help, Adaobi began, her voice trembling. She recounted everything: her love for Ifeanyi, his revelation about being a ghost, and his warning about the darkness threatening the village. Mama Nkechi listened patiently, nodding thoughtfully. When Adaobi finished, Mama Nkechi spoke, called her voice to be calm and soothing. Child, the spirit world is vast and mysterious. It is not uncommon for spirits to linger, especially those with unfinished businesses. But the darkness Ifeanyi spoke of is real and dangerous. We must prepare to protect our village. She led Adaobi inside and began gathering herbs and items from various shelves. There are rituals we can perform to strengthen the village defenses, Mama Nkechi explained. But more importantly, you must spread kindness and unity among the villagers. Darkness feeds on the fear of discord. We must stand together with love and strength. For the next few days, Adaobi worked closely with Mama Nkechi. They performed rituals and placed protective charms around the village. Adaobi also went from house to house, encouraging the villagers to be kind to one another and to work together. She apologized to those she has wronged in the past and made an effort to show compassion and understanding. The villagers, seeing her transformation and sincerity, responded positively. They joined in the effort to protect their home, and a sense of unity grew among them. As the day passed, the atmosphere in Imokoro became lighter and more hopeful. One night, as the village gathered around a large bonfire for a celebration of unity, a cold wind suddenly swept through the area. The flames flickered and the shadows grew long and menacing. Adaobi felt a shiver of fear, but she stood tall, remembering Ifeanyi's words. From the darkness, shadowy figures began to emerge, their eyes glowing with malevolence. The villagers gasped and huddled together, fear creeping into their hearts. But Adaobi stepped forward, holding out her hands. Listen to me, she called out, her voice strong and clear. We must not fear these spirits. They thrive on our fear and anger. Instead, we must show them the power of love and unity. Together, we are stronger than any darkness. The villagers took a deep breath, drawing courage from Adaobi's words. They held hands, forming a circle around the bonfire. Adaobi led them in a chant of peace and love, her voice echoing through the night. As they chanted, the shadowy figures began to waver and fade, unable to withstand the positive energy radiating from the villagers. With one final burst of light, the shadows vanished, leaving the village bathed in the warm glow of bonfire. The villagers cheered, hugging one another and celebrating their victory. Adaobi felt a weight lift from her heart, knowing that the darkness had been driven away. Later that night, as the celebrations wound down, Adaobi stood alone in the old abandoned house. She looked up at the stars, feeling a gentle breeze on her face. She closed her eyes and whispered, "Thank you, Ifeanyi. You showed me power of love and kindness. I will never forget you." As if in response, a soft, warm glow appeared beside her. Adaobi opened her eyes and saw Ifeanyi's spirit, smiling at her. He looked peaceful and content. "You've done well, Adaobi," he said softly. "You have learned valuable lessons and shared it with others. Now I can finally rest in peace, knowing that you are safe and happy." Tears of joy filled Adaobi's eyes as she watched Ifeanyi's spirit slowly fade away, this time forever. She knew he had finally free, and she felt a deep sense of gratitude for the love they had shared. Moral lesson. The story of Adaobi and Ifeanyi teaches us that love and kindness have the power to overcome even the darkness of times. It reminds us that true strength lies in unity and compassion, and that we must always strive to treat others with respect and understanding. In the end, it is not the physical presence of a person that matters, but the love and goodness they leave behind in our hearts.